Epic Action, a Star Wars Unlimited podcast. Your source for community building, tournament tips, deck building discussion, and all things Star Wars Unlimited.
All right, and welcome back to another episode of Epic Action, a Star Wars Unlimited podcast. I'm your host, Raul. With me, I have Nick and Paul. How are you doing, guys?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah. Nick is still in Japan, so he's, again, joining us from across the world and from the future. So how are things on that side?
They're really good. I got to play Unlimited last night. So at Fellows Cafe and Bar here in Shimbasi. It's like a neighborhood of Tokyo.
Okay. Is that different one than you went to last week?
No, same place. This is like the only place in Tokyo they play, but it ended up just being me and another guy. I guess a bunch of the other people were really busy.
Cool.
But we played probably 7 or 8 games. I opened like 4 packs just for the heck of it. No legendaries or showcases, unfortunately. So I gave most of the rares to the guy who's playing. Because it's a little hard to get cards and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the rate for me is a whole lot better in the cost realm.
Right.
Because the yen is really high to the dollar, so it's not bad. But yeah, so I got to play a bunch. Didn't drop a game, which I feel really bad. The guy was really nice. And all I had was my boss deck. And he was switching between like 3 different ones. So we have to get done.
Boss blue?
Green.
Okay.
I'm not that much of a degenerate.
Well,
I would have felt really bad if I had boss blue.
I'll get to a fun matchup here during my Waterloo games in a minute involving a boss blue. We'll get there. Paul, what's going on with you?
Good question, man. Life has been a little bit different scheduling wise for me, and like we're just working through those scheduling, so I haven't been able to play as much. But I have been I've been getting a couple of rounds in with some proxies kind of at home, just to get a shuffle going on and playing with some set 4 cards just to see how like draws would work out. I'm super excited about the pre-orders that I have. So as far as Star Wars goes, like I've been having a good time just playing around with some proxies that I have printed, and super excited to get my hand on my pre-orders coming up here pretty soon and getting used to this new schedule and trying to get back to being able to play normally.
Nice. Very good. All right, so got a question for you guys. What Star Wars song would you fight God to?
Wait, what?
This is suggested by my neighbor. That was true. I was going to use. I don't want to offend anyone, but I thought it was hilarious. So, Nick,
God.
You got the boss fight.
Let me make sure. That I would dog to or God?
Hey God, this is to be it's any God.
Hey God.
I've been playing Final Fantasy. It's always the end boss is always a God.
Okay,
so.
Hey. Wow. It's gonna be Cantina Band.
I stole mine. See, I was gonna say that because it kind of throws them off the game. They think it's some epic song coming on. You got the what do they call them now? Man.
God,
The Cantina Band?
Yeah, they have like a weird name for like what they the music.
They're an actual group now. Yeah, but it's his. I don't know. It's going off the rails already.
There we go.
I won't pick a god. I don't want to offend anybody.
No, particular. It could be some evil Final Fantasy gods. Go with that. So that's good.
Oh, Paul? I have no idea what Final Fantasy.
No, it doesn't matter. So, Paul, what's your? I just throw in general. It's like we're not offending anyone. Not anything real. Just we're players in the game. Paul,
I feel like if I'm the one that's going to be fighting here, I'm probably going to get beat. So I'm going with like a nice like Binary Sunset is the name of the song.
Yeah.
It is the song where Luke is looking off at the two suns setting on Tatooine. Yeah, it's super sad. You know what I mean? It's sort of that like something epic's about to happen, but like really you're about to lose this fight. So binary sunset, guys.
I dig it. Well, like I said, I was going to say Cantina Band, but then I guess I go with the straight answer of Duel of the Fates, because what is more epic than Duel of the Fates in the Star Wars realm?
For sure.
I had the fortunate luck to I went to Star Wars Celebration a couple years ago, and for those who don't know, that's a official like convention held by like Lucasfilm, and they kind of travel the country. This year it's actually in Japan, so you missed it by a few weeks, Nick, unfortunately. But the year I was there, I was able to get into the main hall for like whatever the opening ceremonies were. And they just keep, they kept hitting us with special guests after special guests. Luke walks on, Mark Hamill walks on stage. You got, I think Billy D, the guy who plays Chewbacca was alive at the time, Peter Mayhew. And then out of nowhere, the curtain drops, and you got John Williams with the entire orchestra, like blasting some epic music. And I was just pretty sure there's a guy next to me who was crying, like out of emotion. Like he was like, about to make me teary eyed, but that was pretty cool.
For sure. That's some epic action right there.
Yeah. Probably top 5 epic moments I've had. So awesome. All right, yeah. I was trying to figure out a question, and I asked my neighbor, and he's like, "This is a funny one, but try it." So here we go. All right, some quick little stats. I want to thank our listeners. We've hit over 300 downloads on Spotify, which is awesome. I think on YouTube we have about 150 to 200 combined on our stuff. So we're getting out there, but we're always trying to keep growing. Looks like we got some friends from Canada this week joining us, a couple of UK and Germany staying strong. So appreciate all of that. Want to thank some of our new members to Discord. We got Kent, Hob, Ukrainian King, who got to play last week at the Your Hobby Place weekly, and Shaquille Oatmeal. He posted in like several local Discords trying to find like where people were playing, and I happened to catch him. So excited to have you join us at one of our events really soon. Rick Dunkley finally got in here with us. We think one of our first episodes was talking about how he, beat us down to the showdown. It's good to finally have him in here. And then we got Doug from Curio and Steve from the Under the Twin Suns podcast, and I will be talking to them here pretty soon too. All right. All good. All right. So
am I back now?
Yeah, you're here. I think Nick was having a little technical difficulties, but he's good now. Well, speaking of Nick, like I said, he's still in Japan. He's still living large, enjoying things hopefully over there. We finally got around to recording this new segment. You want to, share the name?
Yeah, so I think we've officially decided it's going to be Epic Journey, or Epic Journeys if more of us do it. But right now, just Epic Journey. So we're going to go from now until Galactic Championships, which I am now confirmed I'm going to go.
Nice.
I've settled everything else, so definitely super excited. The sectors, I think sectors right is the one in Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
Coming
so
soon.
That'll be the first kind of big test. That's on my birthday, so excited about that. And then possibly go up to Minnesota for
regionals.
The regionals. But it's going to be basically what I wanted to do is kind of document that journey, how what I'm playing competitively and for fun change over time. And naturally it's going to change with step 4 and 5. And then I just like one of the things I wanted to do with starting this channel was, as more of a mid player, take that next step. How do we like collectively as a group, may not be like the best of the best, but we're all competitive. We all want to do well. How do we get there? So any feedback is welcome. Anything you guys want me to try, I'd love to do it. Just try some things out differently. So
yeah, the first episode will be premiering this week.
Yeah.
He is just waiting on me to finish editing it, so it's on me. But it'll be out the next day or two.
YouTube exclusive too.
Yes, YouTube exclusive. And so you kind of alluded to this. I'm going to try my hand at recording an episode 4 too. This weekend I'm headed to Boston, and I found a showdown that is happening at a convenient time for me. It's like, unless there's any plane delays, I should be able to like land, take an Uber, grab some lunch, and then walk into the showdown. And from the local Discord, I joined the local Discord and asked them what the scene was. They said they had about 30 people last time, so hoping it'll be another big one. And I'll get to meet new people. Regardless, it means I'm going to play all new people that I haven't played before, so that should be fun.
That's always exciting.
Yeah, see what their meta is.
What are you gonna take?
I'll give you like half a guess.
Iden.
Iden blue.
Oh, Iden yellow. No, I'm just kidding.
I did
see. I did see an Iden yellow was floating around that kind of intrigued me. But no, it's gonna be Iden blue. I think I really liked my. Well, let's segue into the next section. This weekend, I went to Waterloo Games Championship, and I took my Iden blue deck, and I made a couple changes on it based on kind of like the last couple of weeks, but really like discussion we had with Tom on here when he was asking me about like what's in my deck, what I'm planning around. Probably the biggest thing is that the Inferno 4 is back in there. I moved the Sentinels that I had to sideboard, so I had 3 Pike Sentinels as like kind of like early drop or just like against aggro some hedge, but I had no idea what the meta is at Waterloo, and decided that that the Inferno 4, the digging for cards that I need, was much more helpful. And that one card won me a game for sure. So I had a round 1 bye, so I just kind of had to chill. But actually during the bye,
it's like
what's that?
Par for the course for you. It's like par for the course.
It is. I seem to get
1 buys.
I do. I think I've hit round 1 buys at like 2 Curio showdowns now. So it just so happened there's some other players there hanging about too, under the Twin Suns, who I guess one of them it was a championship series, so they had a round 1 bye as well from like having done well earlier. So I got to play some Twin Suns while we were waiting for round 1. Busted out my Anakin Ahsoka green deck, and I think the other guy had Rey and Obi-Wan, and I forget the third guy. Oh man, it was Steve, handsome Steve. I'm sorry, I forgot what you were playing because him and I were just beating each other the whole time, and then the third guy was just sitting. I think it was Tim. Was sitting back and like healing and putting sentinels up, and he won the game because of that.
Yeah, playing the long game.
Yeah,
sounds about right.
Then we played a second game where I got Anakin out, Ahsoka out in the same turn, and they were getting ready to I could kill the guy in front of me, but the other guy was able to flip out his guys, and like even with my 5 heals, he had restore on Rey and a couple other units. So, like he won because of that too. So restore and Sentinel very strong in Twin Suns. Who knew? So that was fun waiting. At least I got to play something while I was waiting. Also, a good time to mention, they've actually asked me to join them on the channel this week. So everything goes planned. I should be chatting with them on Thursday and should be in the next episode. So I'm excited for that.
Very nice.
Yeah. All right. So going into round 2, I played against Jonathan, a local player. He was playing Kylo Red, super aggro. Like I think on turn 5, I already had 25, 26 damage on my base. It was very scary, but the vigilances came out when they needed to. So I started popping his dudes and healing 5, and I think 3 turns in a row I got vigilance. So that saved me. Yeah. Otherwise I was toast because he was coming hard. And then just whenever I place the red deck, I usually don't sweat red decks too much, like Sabine, as a blue player, item blue player. If I can weather the early game, I guess gotta get past their leader, whatever that is, turn 4 Sabine, turn 4 Kylo. If I hold that takedown or at least mitigate any other units that he drops, and he was dropping a lot of 1-cost units like Mr. Bones, and he had 3 or 4 units to begin with. So The other change that I made this last week that came in clutch right here was Equalize. Man, that card's strong. If you don't know, that's it's a double blue 3 cost, and it you give a unit -2/-2 for the turn. If they control more units than you, give another unit -2/-2. Well, that was the exact situation. He had I think he turn 1 dropped 2, I think a Stormtrooper unit and like a Mr. Bones or something that only had 2 health. So first action, turn 2, 3 cost turn. I play that and just clears his board. I was like, oh, that 3, wow. So that's gonna remain in my deck for a while here. Yeah, so both games kind of went like that. He got me really close, 25, I think 28 damage at one point, and then once I was able to kill Kylo and kind of start working his board back, I was able to get the wins. But he fought very well. He played very well. Awesome dude. He's one of the locals there, so glad I got to meet him. Just gonna say Kylo swinging on the fallen lightsaber is scary. I think he did swung twice and got me to 15 damage just by himself.
Yeah.
So
it's quick and scary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I feel like Kylo's even than Sabine.
You think Kylo what?
It's quicker than Sabine and can put damage on you real quick if you don't start clearing the board.
Definitely. I just think his weakness of having to clear your hand basically to make him as powerful as possible is kind of a holdback, because then you're just top decking after that. But if you manage to get that down, I think against any other, I told him I think against any other deck he would have won, but because I had all the heals on board, I was able to weather it. So good game against Jonathan, thank you. And then round 3, old friend of ours, Master Jedi Adam, came down. He made the trip down, and he was playing Boss Blue. So the first thing I said to him when he sat down, I was like, I promise you my decisions will be 15 seconds or less. And I stuck to that. Every single, I was quick. So
the
much
degenerate
time.
ball.
What's that?
The degenerate ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the game basically turned to this is a different game. It's everyone was playing SWU. We were playing who can mill each other out first. Because that's what we were doing. Because I'm not putting units down for him to bounty, So I think both of these games started with us passing 4 or 5 turns just in a row, just pass, claim, pass, claim, pass, claim. It was kind of funny, but we were like, let's just get to the actual game here, because nothing's gonna happen this for a few turns. And that's what happened. So
the actual game where we're playing 9 cost units.
Yeah. So he hit me with some vigilances early on to mill me out. He did get my restock. He did not get my bounty hunter cruise. So I was holding that in hand. So we got to the very end of the game, and he was out of cards. I was out of cards. I think he had his restock in hand, but I had my bounty hunters in hand. So that meant I could play bounty hunter, get my restock back, play restock, and then put bounty hunter, restock, and vigilances down in my discard pile.
Yeah, and you're just healing and reclaiming and healing and reclaiming.
Yeah, and that's he did have bounty hunter crew as well. What he didn't have, which gave me a little bit of an edge at that time, was Inferno 4. So I saved him for the end of the game when I knew it was going to be the 4 cards in the deck, and I needed to get that restock before he put his vigilance to get rid of it again.
Right.
So that's what I did. I played Inferno 4 with a couple resources I had left over and made sure restock was on top. So I drew it, and that was the game. It's just going to be a cycle. So we're going to keep going until he was out. So he conceded that one, but I don't think he had an out because I was able to keep that loop going indefinitely, pretty much. So then we go turn 2, and it's the same thing: pass, claim, till we get to near the end game where we've decked each other out. I shoved my whole sideboard in. I'm pretty sure he did too, or at least he got 2 more restocks in his deck this time. He only had 1 last time. And I think the first game took about 45 minutes. So it's, again, if we go to time, I'm going to automatically win. But I told him, I'm not going to not play fast just to automatically win. So I was playing quick. We unfortunately didn't go to time, but it still got back to that end game of, kind of tricking each other out to see who's going to make a mistake. Because that's really what it came down to. So who's going to make a mistake and let the other person mill out your vigilances or mill out your restocks, whatever you put in that board at the end.
Right.
So it was just an entirely different game, mind game. People were watching it, waiting for us, and I felt bad, but Adam played it great. I think he said he was wishing he brought something else, but I think
You should have thrown a couple Satines in there and just started. Go wow.
Awesome. So I'm technically 3-0 at this point because I had a bye, so I make it to the top 4. And I play first round against my old nemesis, Quinlan Tarkentown. And funny enough, the guy I think it's Tim. The guy I played, Tim. He told me straight up, I was like, yeah, Rick taught me like everything I knew. I was like, oh, so this is gonna be a repeat of the showdown a few weeks ago.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it was fine. Like they wanted to split, but I was like, no, I'll play. Like I've said before, if it comes to the top cut or something, I don't really want to split. I'd prefer to play, even though knowing that I'm probably gonna lose the game, which is fine. But I got the more practice to get against it, the better. But still, Quinlan Tarkentown just shuts me down. Hand hate makes me top deck. Has goes wide and just manages to wear me down before I can do much. So, yeah, pretty much repeat. Don't have a ton to say about that one. Quinlan Tarkentown is very strong. I loaded it up and I gave it a. I tried pulling together and tried it out too. It's not like it's not really auto win. You really need to practice the deck, but like once you know like what to do, it's very strong and there's not much that can counter it. Like someone knows what they're doing.
Right.
So yeah, that was Waterloo games. I think he ended up he beat me and then he went to the finals and Handsome Steve won the whole thing. He's one of the guys from Under the Twin Sun. So I had to look. I posted pictures. I'm trying to remember what he was playing. But it was Quinlan Tarkentown. So there's 2 Quinlan Tarkentowns in the top 4.
Okay.
And then there was me with Item Blue. And then let me look up here real quick what the last one was. It was.
Good job, Handsome Steve, for taking down the showdown.
Yeah, he had Kira ECL, and I watched their game, and man, Kira he again, another player who like he said he's been playing her for like longest time, like sort of like me with Item Blue. It's just we've been playing for forever, so we know the decks really well. And yeah, very, very impressive to see. So congrats, Handsome Steve. The other guys who were knocked out, they actually wanted to keep playing, so they did an impromptu draft and play like a best of 1. So that was cool to hear in the background. I was a little sad. I wanted to join in. I was like, maybe I should have just split and played with them, but it's all good. All good. But yeah, it was cool to see. Got a couple of packs. They had some really good prices on boxes. I picked up a box of Spark and got 7 legendaries out of it. So got that Waterloo luck.
Yeah, good polls.
Box of Spark. Should have picked me up a box of Spark.
Yeah, it could have. And they have a bunch. I think they're selling for like $95, so really good price. But they did have quite a bunch of every set. So, well, we're planning. We're hoping to go there for the Chaos Draft.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When is it?
It will be March, the Friday of the pre-release. So March 7.
What time does it start?
I want to say 6:30. But I can check with
It'll
them.
be tight, but we're going to try to make it happen.
I have to pick up my daughter at 5.
Ooh, might be rough. Okay, we'll chat offline about plans, but I'd like to go if possible. Yeah, I'll probably have to work some magic too to make it, but
I want to go. I want to go.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Wait, this is the Chaos Twin Suns draft?
Yes.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yes. Got to get our resident hater on the Twin Suns train. I think this will be a good way to do it.
You might be able to get in a post-game collector booster draft if that's allowed to be sold by then.
It's true. Yeah. I think they're just trying to figure out whether they can do that or not, but I think they can. So he did say he'll have boxes of those on hand.
Yeah, looking forward to getting one of those in, man. Very excited.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Awesome.
Can't wait.
All right. Real quick, want to talk about some spoilers that came out today in the last couple of days. Primarily today, I think there was a big drop. They revealed Yellow Hero leader Kazuda. I don't know if that's his last name. Jono. I don't want to butcher.
So no.
Onyo. Okay, Kazuda. So Paul had a good question about who that is. He's like, no idea. He is actually the main character of Resistance. Little watch show. It takes place kind of around episode 7, Force Awakens, a little bit before. I think it goes into. I didn't finish watching the whole series.
It actually goes like they go to Dakar after like the First Order has destroyed it.
Yeah, from what I remember, it
after the battle there.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
So right at the same time.
Okay. So he's interesting. I think everyone's scratching their head on like what to do with this leader. He says, "Action: a friendly unit loses all abilities for this round, and then take an extra action after this one." So nothing apparent. I don't think jumps out for strategy wise from stuff we've had before. The only thing that someone posted was the Sabine Wren from set 3, where on attack you may discard a card from your deck. If it doesn't share an aspect with your base, deal 2 damage to ground units. That almost, unless you put in like confiscates and stuff in your deck, that guarantees that she's swinging for 6 basically. So that could be really good. 4 costs, 6/4, or 4/4 heading for 6. And then his ship, the Fireball, has ambush 3/3 for 2. When the regroup phase starts, deal 1 damage to the unit. Which, if you've seen the show, it's kind of thematic because the ship's just like falling apart. He's always taking damage. So that's just the other thing. But with it being 3 health, it's not going to last anyway. So there's not really much of a strategy to build around there. Sorry, I jumped ahead a little bit.
I was thinking, I was about to say, I was like, Sabine is for the other one.
Correct. Lake Country. So
I would say Outlaw Corona is another one that came to my mind. It's overstated, but has a negative effect. So, hey, it loses that bounty. I don't know if it's a build around. I guess we'll wait to see. The other one, I guess, that got posted, Contract Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Defeat this unit at the regroup phase. I guess timing is. Are we still on the same phase that Ketsuonia would like stop that from happening, or is that the next?
Yeah, because regroup phase technically happens at the end of the turn, so his action would apply till the end of that turn, end of the regroup phase. So again, it's a 4/4 body for 3, which is fine, but like, is it really
an ambush with an ambush at 3? This is like a 4-lom, but you get it a turn earlier.
Yeah. And then his flip side, it's on attack, choose any number of friendly units. They all lose their abilities this round. So, again, we need to see what else comes out with this, because right now he's looking like he's joining Afra in the binder.
All Afra.
Afra Hunter. 400.
That's all right. Everybody's gonna be like, "Who's this guy anyway?" So it probably works.
All
right, you want to go to the other one?
Yeah, so I kind of jumped ahead with Sabine. Sabine I was referring to is a new base called Lake Country. It's a rare base for 34 health, and it's colorless. So no aspect to it. So that's why the other thing I thought about was these set 3 Sabine. When you attack, discard a card from your deck. If it doesn't share an aspect, your base deal 2 damage to your ground unit. That's pretty good. I know there's some discussion in the Curio chat about pairing this with Hera. Because she doesn't really care about aspects.
I didn't want to steal Sunny's thunder there, but that was my first thought too.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on the spoilers? Speaking of Sunny, he's on deck here. We're about to bring him in, and he's going to talk to us a little bit. But yeah. Anything else you want to talk about spoilers before we move on?
Nah, I think we should be good.
All right. Sunny Hang.
Hey. Good evening.
Hey. We're doing good.
What's up, man?
We were just talking about the new spoilers that came out today. The Kazuda, the Lake Country. Did you get a chance to take a look at those?
Yeah, I did. Not sure what to think about the Lake Country base yet. I'm not sure how played that is going to be, but the new leader, Kaz, does seem pretty good.
Okay.
Can see some interactions where you shut off a lot of when defeated and other negative effects, right? Bounties and all that that can help. It allows you to play some cards like the Corona, right? That space unit,
Yep.
and use it for crashing without having to worry about them getting that benefit from the bounty, right?
Yeah. Another one that came to mind was the Set 1 Millennium Falcon. You turn off that upkeep cost, right? So,
definitely, yeah. You don't have to pay the Falcon tax. That's really really cool.
So if nothing else, it's a good ride for that.
And then that new card, that Fireball card,
Mhm.
obviously really good with that leader, but in general, I think that's one of the best space units in the game now. Nothing's been statted at 3/3 in space at that cost. And then on top of it, it has ambush, right? So even if you consider it a 3/2, that's still insane for 2. So
Definitely. Looking forward to people put together with this because, like I said, isn't not a lot jumps right out at me, but I'm sure some master players out there are gonna create some sick strategies from him. So
For sure, leave it to Sonny to come in and be like, we're talking about like this may land in Dr. Afra, and Sonny comes right and is like, no, he's strong. You know what I mean? So super interested to see what gets built here.
yeah.
Definitely.
I also
Awesome.
liked was it yesterday, the day before, there was a Fet's Fire Spray, a new one. Yeah, that one was pretty
Oh,
that looked really good. It's you ready it after you attack, right? Do it once per turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks real strong. Red just and I played a game with Paul yesterday, using Luke 2. A lot of red units, and man, it was real strong. I think we're gonna do a little deck tech on it later this week. But
Cool.
looking forward to trying that out.
So that was a double red, Luke?
It was not. It was a red green Luke, and I'm super excited about Luke, and I'm sure there's a lot of different configurations that I'm going to try him in. But Luke is definitely one of my standouts for set 4, and just super excited to get my hands on him and see what I could whip up, and like definitely interested in your guys' take as well. Being on the deeper competitive side, man, like I know there are lines that I haven't found because I'm just diving in with proxies and trying to see what can be done with him, and I'm having a lot of fun with really just his leader mechanic, like swinging in with the fighter and being able to allocate 1 damage. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it feels very strong when you add in some other cards.
Chewy, I wasn't ready for Chewy. The pilot, what's the Y wings that are it's 1 attack, 3 health, but on attack you deal like more indirect damage.
Yeah,
so
the Red Squadron Y wings.
Yeah, so you play that turn 1, turn 2 he puts Chewy on it. It's like now I can't even just destroy the thing, and that thing just ended up chewing through all my health because there's nothing I could do about it. So yeah, so we'll do a little deck tech on that later in the week. But wanted to get Sonny in here. Sonny the Road Warrior. He went to 2 PQs this weekend.
Yeah. I
Wow,
went to
man.
2 back-to-back. This is the first time that I had done something like that for this game, and it was interesting. It only had the opportunity because there were both PQs were about an hour and 15 minutes from each other.
Nice.
So I was able to double up on them. I've never seen any other weekend where we've had that opportunity to have 2 PQs on Saturday and then Sunday right next to each other, pretty much.
That's awesome. Yeah, the very height
Tell
of
me
my...
you played something different at both ones.
What's that?
I said, tell me you played something different at both of them.
No, I played the same deck, but I made significant card choice differences in Sunday. On Saturday I did really well. But Sunday I didn't do that well, right? But I don't think those the card differences are maybe necessarily reason why I didn't do well on Sunday, but it was just a story of two different tournament scripts, I guess, right? Matchup scripts, and then yeah, sometimes that makes all the difference.
For sure, there's always going to be some RNG involved.
Yeah, it's RNG, but what I've noticed in this meta is it's really matchup dependent, right? So I'll give you an example. So just from the PQs this weekend, uh, in the Saturday field and the Sunday field, the player base was about maybe 60 to 70% the same, right? Because a lot of people had the idea of doubling up the PQs. They're right next to each other. On Saturday, there were 11 Kira ECLs in the field. It was the most played deck.
Wow.
Not a single one made top cut.
Oh.
There was one Tarkin Blue in top cut, and that made top 4, but no, that was like the only blue-green villain deck. Then on Sunday, however, in the top 4, it was 3 blue-green villain decks. So
Wow.
yeah, it was 2. The finals was Akira ECL versus a Tarkin Blue, and then there was another Kira 30 HP in the top 4, right? So the only way I can explain that is that on Saturday, those Kiras probably ran into either mirror matches or bad matchups, and then they didn't have that same tournament script on Sunday, right? Yeah, so it's just strange to see. And the tournament composition of deck breakdown is about the same in both PQs, right? Because they're at such a similar player base, right? It's just
Right.
that the results were totally different because maybe the pairings were different.
Right.
And what'd you bring in, Sonny?
So I played Han Green. So we talked about that Han Green that I
Yep.
had played at the Virginia PQ, and I had been playing that since. I tried to play a couple different decks, but I kind of set some goals to try to top, so I didn't want to go too far out
Right.
there with what I've been testing. But I did make a couple changes, and on Saturday I played Chewbacca unit, which is it's like an old set one card that not doesn't see as much play anymore. The one that Sentinel and then re-readies itself. So I played it in Han Green in set 1, and it comes up in situations where necessarily. So if you're at 6 resources and then they have an answer to your flip, you can drop it, make things awkward for your opponent, right? Because then they don't know if they want to like just pass or claim or attack into it and take more damage, and it protects your Han leader. Yeah, I felt like that came up quite a bit actually on Saturday, and it made the difference in so many games. So I like that little tech choice that I played.
Yeah, I think it's a really good card. I'm not sure kind of why he dropped off as much as he did, but it's cool to see him. Him and the Pike's Bane version, both I don't want to see across the table. They're both hard to deal with.
Yeah. I think any cards that they're when you put them on the table to respond to them, it takes either awkward sequencing or 2 cards to deal with, right? Are generally good, right?
Yeah,
And
puts you ahead.
that's one of them. So
For sure. So what can you actually where were the PQs at?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
was
they were in the Northeast, all the way in I guess like New England area. The first one was in Connecticut, right outside of Hartford, Connecticut, and then the second one was Massachusetts, near Worcester, Massachusetts.
nice.
Yeah. And the Hartford one was about 110 or 112 players. It was a pretty big PQ, but just towards the end of the PQ, there was a huge snowstorm. That started. It started at like 4 p.m., but then it was going in through the night. Like so, people were trying to leave as fast as they can. And that snowstorm continued into Sunday. morning. So then I guess the Sunday event, it was a smaller event because some people decided to go, if they came from south, they decided to go back south and not play on the Sunday, but it was still 70 players. So still not a small PQ by any means. Yeah.
So
Awesome.
being in the Massachusetts area, we know that there's a pretty famous, uh, Star Wars Unlimited team up there with KTOD. Did you run into any of those guys up there in New England?
Yeah, definitely. So I ran into a lot of KTOD members both days. On Saturday, so on the official competitive team, I think I only played against Bobby Sapphire in the Top Cut. But there were several like KTOD subscribers that I ran into. That
Right.
yeah, they're heavy in their testing with KTOD, that general area, right? And they follow a lot of the ideas that KTOD come up with. So I played I think 4 KTOD members, right? Like the subscribers on Saturday, and then I think I played at least 2 of them on Sunday as well.
For
So
sure.
yeah, very huge following for KTOD up there.
Yeah.
Nice
I
to
mean,
see
that's
that
their home
KTOD.
base, right? It would be like everybody in Northern Virginia knows, you guys would be in, Conroe and everybody, you know what I mean? So we get that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
And I'm
and
sure they treated you well, right? Like very nice people.
yeah,
Cordial.
they're fun to speak to, and they were very competitive, like very hyper competitive, I would say, right? So
Awesome.
yeah, Bobby Sapphire obviously is one of the big faces of KTOD, and
Right.
he topped both days. And then the other really good or really successful KTOD member right now is Alex Blandon,
Okay.
and he won the Saturday event. Well, they didn't play out the finals, but he got to the finals, and then his opponent gave him the win. And then on Sunday as well, he made top 4.
Very nice.
So yeah, those two players were really strong showings from them. And I played against Alex Blandon a good amount of times. Actually, last week, so the week before this weekend, I played a different PQ in New Jersey, and I ran into Alex Blandon as well, and we had a really good match in that one.
Nice. Shout out to those guys for keeping the community strong, man. And you too, Sonny, traveling around and you know what I mean? Like it takes a lot of resources to be able to travel and just
Yeah,
play in events and it, showing up is a big deal.
Yeah. During my my height of my Legion competitive days, I'd do back-to-back tournaments. Like Saturday I was up in Maryland, and Sunday I'd be down in Richmond, playing 10-hour days, 12-hour days for tournaments. So I do miss it, but it's I'm sure you get like a little competitive rush just doing it. Keep
yes, yeah. But I would say it's also a grind. It can be exhausting at times,
for
especially
sure.
if a lot of travel is involved, right? And in a short amount of time. So I did feel that. And this weekend I think I will play in the Philadelphia one. So it's a lot.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh
Nice.
wow.
back to back. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, playing at that high competitive level, keeps you sharp, lets you see what the field is, and just you get that practice in. Nothing else.
Definitely.
Very good. Anything else you wanted to add about your weekend trip?
I think the stores were really nice too in both Connecticut. The first one was at a store called Tabletop Gaming Center, and then in Massachusetts it was at a shop called Great Stories. And the price support was really good. So I was impressed. The judges were good to interact with as well.
Nice.
I went up to them and clarified a good amount of rulings before the events, and
Okay.
looks like
Any,
they knew their stuff. So I'm happy that uh, FFG is building that judge program and community through Cascade, right?
yeah. Any rulings that you remember asking about that came up?
Yeah. So actually, a funny thing is, on Saturday, so my friend that I traveled to these events and played together, and he was playing Bosk ECL. So we're getting some like rulings clarified for him. One was just if Bosk attacks into um, a unit with a bounty and then it dies, right? Can you still double the bounty or not, right? And the answer is no. The judges gave, right. So that definitely came up. And
You say if boss dies, you can't double the bounty?
yeah, that's how they ruled it. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's previously was ruled that you could, because it's like it sees it before it happens. It's like Iden with Super Laser Blast.
Yeah. So maybe that was wrong then, but that's how they ruled it there. Yep.
Yeah.
So I clarified that. But that's a good thing to like. We should double check on that because they did rule it that way there. But it's something that we had to clarify.
And that was right from the onset. That was before this play happened.
Correct. Yeah, I asked the question on Saturday, and
Very
then
nice.
I saw it. I saw it come up on Sunday, right? So that was an example. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely good to think ahead of those scenarios and try to talk to the judge beforehand if you think it might come up and be an issue. That way, you know what to expect.
Yeah, the other similar ruling, right? A question that we had because since he was playing ECL Bosk, he was playing the Django unit, right? Django is similar, right? It draws a card. You get the draw if Django trades and dies, right? That one they said that you do.
Weird.
Yeah. So we'll have to look at the wording difference between like Bosk and then Django. Because I think so Django says like when it defeats a unit. Right? So I guess you will still defeat the unit, right? Even if Django just dies, but like a bounty, I'm wondering like if the timing is different. So it may or may not be. They may just be the ruling may have just been wrong, but that's how they ruled.
Yep. And that's the thing you got to keep in mind with a lot of competitive games, like sort of in Legion, like the judges always say, like, I will try my best to follow the rules, but like if I get it wrong, we have to go with what I said because that's how I keep the game moving. We can't sit here and like me call someone at headquarters and try to get the answer.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, if they're consistent, it's fine.
Yeah. When a judge makes a ruling for that specific event, then yeah, I mean, you do have to abide.
Yep. So
by that, right? Discretion, the way that they want to rule it.
Right. But like you said, the judging program is pretty robust. They're they're doing quizzes and tests and stuff to get their higher levels. So hopefully pretty soon everything will be consistent across the board, especially these higher events where you really need to be like a higher level judge to even participate.
Yeah.
So, awesome. So with all your PQs, when you approach going to them weekend after weekend, what do you other than trying to win, of course, what do you hope to take away? Like what drives you to go to all these events?
Yeah, so recently, so I went to Red Seal Gaming in New Jersey the weekend before that. That's the PQ that I played against Alex Blandon, and I had just gone there because I was already kind of signed up for it before the PQ that I won, right? But over there, a couple players were talking about this player rankings that are being posted now on SWU Competitive Hub, right? So that kind of motivated me to get higher on that ranking list. So that it shows like the number of wins that you have and the number of tops you have. So what they do is they aggregate everything from melee.gg from all the tournaments, and then they pull it there and list it. So it was like a kind of goal setting, like motivational thing.
Man, we're gonna have to start playing to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leaderboards. This is like ELO settings almost.
Yeah.
See Ryan on here. I just pulled it up just to take a look where people are at. See Ryan here with 2 PQ wins.
Yeah. I have a good amount of tops. I think I have 5 tops now and 1 PQ win.
There's Sunny.
Yeah.
Nice. Andrew.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I thought that I would be retiring this deck after this next PQ. I'll play it again in Philly.
Mhm.
Han Green, right? But seeing all of the previews so far, Han Green, it totally morphs into a different deck in next set, but it's really strong still. So probably will continue to play it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to getting some deck tech done with you, man. Like, we're hoping to get in on some roundtable discussions and talk about what
Sure,
that can bring.
Yeah. You guys already mentioned the Chewbacca unit, right? The new one. That one is just it might be the most busted in Han because you being able to play up ahead of curve a little bit, right?
Mhm.
So you can so blue leader is a card you can play turn 1, and then you can just put a Chewbacca on it turn 2. You already had Falcon to turn 1, right? So
Right.
now you have two things that are that you can drop turn 1 that is overstated, better abilities than they should have on a turn 1 play, right? And
For
then
sure.
you top it off with Chewbacca, and then all those top end units in space, or the mid range to top end units in space, also get really enhanced by Chewbacca and Han Green. So, like we were playing Marauder in this set, and next set there's one card that I really liked that I saw. It was like that Tantive 4.
Yeah.
And
I've been looking at that too.
yeah. So that one it helps you go wide, and then you can just put pilots on either it's the itself or the X-wing it creates, right? So
Lots of nasty plays there, and I mean, what an awesome play to play blue leader on turn 1. This is an ambushing unit, right? So like, give up. You're with Han 1. Even if you have the initiative, you're playing the extra resource. If they're dumping something into space, like in most cases, like we've said earlier with the fireball, right? You're not going to have a unit that's going to come out and match your 3/3 ambusher. So blue leader coming in and ambushing like that, taking out their space unit, surviving, and then getting bigger with Chewbacca on the next turn is, I'm excited. You know what I mean? Like, that's a very strong opening.
yeah, it's super strong. Yep, super strong opening, super strong response to like if they were gonna drop a turn 1 space unit and then follow up with their own Chewbacca, it just immediately answers that, right? So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. All I know is I was playing Paul, and I look across the board, and I see several, 7 damaged units just with pilots getting ready to attack me, and I had really not a lot of answer. So, looking forward to that.
Yeah,
Awesome.
looking forward to a lot of it.
Cool. All right, guys. So I think we can do a little bit of wrap up here. Sonny, thank you for joining us. I wish you the best of luck this weekend at the Philly PQ.
Yep. Thanks for having me again. It's good discussion.
Always appreciate your insight. Nick, safe travels back from Japan. We're excited for you to join us in the present day.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm in the future right now. Still.
Yeah. Across the world. And awesome, Paul. Always great. So we can wrap it up here. So thanks again for joining us, listeners. And we'll be back with some more videos this week. I said we're going to post the first Epic Journeys this week on YouTube exclusive. And probably start doing some deck techs as well, just video. And we'll look forward to it. So for Epic Action, I'm Raul.
Nick.
And Paul.
Funny.
All right, thanks, guys.
Take out Craig.